My name is Bruno Sade from brunosade.com. In a recent video, I talked about the challenges of tapping by ourselves in terms of knowing what words to use, what specific events to tap on, how to identify the emotions that we are feeling now about those events. That is why, as a solution, some people recommend incorporating continuous tapping throughout the day as a way to integrate tapping into our daily lives or daily routines, for example, when watching TV. This approach involves tapping on the points without using words or focusing on anything in particular. Now, generally, in my personal experience, I haven't found continuous tapping to be all that useful, and it mostly just leaves my arms feeling tired. However, I've noticed that adding continuous tapping during moments of crying, which in my case are not that frequent, can provide a lot of emotional release. So tapping continuously while simply tuning in and focusing on whatever thoughts or feelings I'm having while I'm crying tends to be very useful. But I noticed that when it comes to emotions such as fear, anxiety, or worry, this approach doesn't tend to work so well for me. Perhaps this is because I find it challenging to simply be with these feelings instead of quickly trying to make them go away. I guess we could say that I find being with emotions such as fear, anxiety, or worry much more uncomfortable than being with emotions related to crying. As I mentioned in another video, tapping with the intention of fixing or making our feelings go away as quickly as possible is usually less effective than when we tap while observing and accepting those emotions without trying to change them. So for some reason, when tapping while crying, it's easier for me to let go of any agenda and allow myself to think and feel whatever arises. However, with anxiety, fear, and worry, this approach becomes more challenging for me. For these emotions, the most effective approach in my experience has been tapping with a practitioner. Now, that being said, when tapping by myself, I found it helpful to tap without words, but without focusing too much on the issue. For example, tapping while I'm watching TV. I think that when I'm feeling anxious for some reason, and I turn on the TV, start watching something, maybe like a sitcom or something like that, and I simply start tapping through the points without focusing too much on whatever is making me feel anxious. It provides some relief because it makes it easier to let go of having that agenda, that not so helpful agenda of trying to fix or make the anxiety go away as quickly as possible. By dividing my attention between the entertainment that I'm watching and whatever is making me anxious, even if I'm not fully aware of what it is exactly, it becomes easier to address those emotions without trying to force any change. Now, keep in mind that this approach will probably not address the root cause of the anxiety, but it can still provide some useful short-term relief. So in conclusion, while continuous tapping may not be universally effective for everyone, it can be helpful in certain situations. Tapping without words and without focusing too much on any issue can make it easier to let go of any agenda and therefore to then experience some relief. Now, as I usually say, it's important to mention that when dealing with very emotionally intense or traumatic memories, it's very recommendable to enlist the aid of a certified EFT practitioner, especially if they have a mental health background, such as myself or someone else, so that you don't have to deal with that alone by yourself, and you can do so in a safe and supportive environment. And also remember that each person's experience is different, and it's important to find the techniques that work best for you in particular. That's it for today. I hope this was useful, and I look forward to seeing you again in one of my next videos.